Hey guys, this is Brother Scott with the Potter's House, and just for a short minute, I want to look at a scripture. I was sitting here doing some studying for our Sabbath service this coming Sabbath, and we're going through the book of Romans. We're in Romans chapter 2 right now. This Sabbath will be Romans chapter 2, part 2, and as we go through the book of Romans, and there is a verse that I want to bring out to you today that I believe is really just really um, not misunderstood, but kind of read over, and no one bothers to maybe study this verse to understand some of the words that Paul uses in this verse and what they can be traced back to. And I'm not one who agrees with pulling a scripture out of a chapter and saying, well, this is what the whole book is written about. I don't do that. And I have a problem with individuals that do that. So we're not doing that today. But we're going to look at a word. I think it's important that we understand what this word is and what it means. And if we can get our minds wrapped around that, then we're going to understand more a little bit of what is being said. And that is going to be Romans 2 and 13. It says, "For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified." And the word I want to look at is one that a lot of people in churchianity, they kind of get the shakes on, and they get a little bit nervous, and some of them maybe get a little upset when you mention the word law. Now, this word in the Greek is nomos, means law. And one that's in Matthew, when Jesus speaks of these people that are going to come to him and say, "We've done many mighty works in your name, we've cast out demons and all these other things," he is going to say to them, um, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity." This word iniquity is anomos, which is lawless. So depart from me, you lawless ones. So anomos is lawless. Nomos is law. Now, when they took the Hebrew scriptures, what is called by many the Old Testament, and they translated that into the Greek, it's called the Septuagint. When they would come across the word Torah, which is another word that makes much of churchianity shake and get nervous and get upset, they put the word nomos in there. Now, the word Torah means more than law. In our mainstream Christianity mind, that's just flat what it means, law, and we're taught that we're not uh, held accountable to obey this law. It's not applicable to us today. But the word Torah means more than law. The word Torah means direction. It means instruction. Um, it comes from the Hebrew word yara, which means to throw, to shoot, to teach, to show. And so, what this means, if you want to picture it in your mind, what this word means, you could imagine an archer pulling back the bow with the arrow and aiming at the bullseye on the target and hitting the target, hitting that goal, meeting that goal. And that's what this word means. Now, if we look at another thing, it says, "For not the hearers." When we take the word hearers, and I don't have the Greek word before me, but it also falls into obeying. And we could say in the Hebrew, the word is shema, Deuteronomy 6 and 4. In our English versions are going to say, "Hear, O Israel." Well, the Shema means to hear and to obey. So we could say here that it's, if we take this, for not just the hearers, but also the obeyers are the ones that are going to be justified before God. So hearing and doing, those that are hearing and those that do, those that hear and those that obey. are the ones that are going to be justified from God. But in here it's not just the ones that just hear it, but the ones that hear it and obey it are the ones that are going to be justified. So if we take this now, and it's talking about those, verse 13 of Romans 2 is talking about those who are hearing, not just hearing the direction of God, not just hearing the instruction of God, but those that are hearing and doing the instructions of God, those that are hearing and obeying the instructions of God. So this verse alone kind of gives us an insight into there's more to living for God. There's more to being a child of God than just going to a church service, going to a Bible study, and just saying, oh, that was a good message. I heard a good word today. But it also, those you've got to be following the instructions and doing the instructions and following the directions of God. Hope to see many of you this Sabbath. If not, hope that you will tune in with us and join in our Sabbath service. Until then, Shabbat Shalom.